And we're on. All right, this is common denominator. Have a good friend of mine here on the line. I'm not going to say his name for just it doesn't really matter. he's a he's a he's an African American male. We share a lot of the same views, and we're just going to have a conversation for you guys about the topic of black male toxicity. Now, we're both black males, but what we realize is that we have this basic, it's not even an assumption, it's a basic premise, a factual premise that the community, the African American community, is not perfect, okay? I think anyone of any race can agree that their community is not perfect. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay, we're not perfect. We have our flaws. Now, if anyone disagrees with that, something really is wrong with you. If you disagree to the basic notion that the community is not perfect, we're not perfect. We have some flaws, and we want to talk about some of these flaws in this discussion. But in this discussion, we want to talk about black male toxicity. Okay, black male toxicity. Now, bro, I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna start this off with a story. Okay, so this weekend, on Saturday, we go up to a park in. I'm not gonna mention the name of the city, but the city has a lot of let's just say hood-oriented people. Okay.
All right.
Okay, hood-aligned. All right, so we go to a park, but we go to the park for a specific purpose. The purpose is to look for homeless people, to feed homeless people, and to try to help them out with some of their needs, like clothing, all right, that kind of stuff. So, and to not just to feed them, but to give them supplies like toothbrushes, toothpaste, soap, and all that good stuff. Anyway, we get to the park. What do we see? We pull into the parking lot, and we see guys standing around with super baggy jeans on, t-shirts that go down to their knees that look like you could fit Jabba the Hutt in them. Guys with you see bottles of 40s, 40s in hand. You hear loud rap music. You see cars on rims. You see cornrows, people smoking. You smell marijuana. You smell tobacco. And this is the scene, okay? Can you? I mean, now, both of us being African American, I mean, what can you tell me? What ethnicity you think these people were? Let's just bring it out.
All right. Well, the first thought would be they're African American, black. My second choice would be Mexican.
Yeah, right. One or the other, right? One or the other.
Yes, or somebody of the Latin persuasion.
Right. Somewhere there, right?
Yes.
Now, I would argue that a lot of these cultures picked up some of this behavior from the hip hop community and the black culture. I mean, a lot of this stuff comes from there. I mean, the other day, I found there was an article online about China banning hip hop.
Yes.
Okay. I dug through the article and they were banning it because of, they were banning, they said actors. It was actors. Okay. And what they meant by actors were people who were acting in music videos and portraying something that, was true or wasn't true, but they call it acting. Yes. And some of these people, all of these people were Chinese, okay? These artists were Chinese, but when you would look at the artist, they look like a lot like what I just described to you about those guys in the park.
Exactly.
They looked exactly like those guys, okay? And they were banning them because they were banning all things that were, quote, tasteless, promoted drug use, and the abuse of women, the disrespect of women. Those were a few things that they mentioned.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you something. In terms of black male toxicity, would you say any of that is true for rap culture or for the hip hop culture?
As far as the disrespect to women?
Disrespect to women, promotion of drugs.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, of course, there are some rap artists that don't participate in that, but
True.
In the mainstream, I wouldn't even say. I guess some of the mainstream artists and even some of the underground artists, to be fair, you will find that tone where women are disrespected, the use of drugs is promoted.
Right. Yeah, all that.
Yes.
I think what I want to get at was, I had a discussion with a friend about it on Facebook, and she was telling me that she was trying to say they were trying to ban black culture or anything that's new to the country. And then I mentioned to her, I said, hey, China has jazz, zero complaints.
Yes.
China has R&B, zero complaints. Why is it that they're honing in on rap? Why is everybody blaming rap? Why doesn't anyone ever blame jazz? Why doesn't anyone ever blame reggae or any other black music that's out there that's popular? Why is that?
It's true. I mean, when it comes to hip hop culture, it didn't start off, in terms of it didn't really start off in the sense of wanting to wanting to promote that side of the African American community.
Right.
Over time, it has evolved into that by some artists. There's other artists, and I remember reading. I actually read that the correspondence that both you and your friend had when you posted that article about China banning hip hop and whatnot.
Right.
And you have people like KRS-One. I know she mentioned him, and Common and a few others that are that don't necessarily get into all of that as far as promoting it or having the guise of promoting the negative aspects of black culture. And
right.
I don't know if you remember this though, but it had to have been maybe 10, 15 years ago now. Oprah Winfrey actually had a show regarding this topic, and she had people like Common and other hip hop artists on the panel, and they were talking about how they talk about the degradation of women in their lyrics, about the use of the N-word, about the use of the B-word, which would coincide with the degradation of women by calling them bitches and so forth and hoes. And
right.
there was a very in-depth discussion about not only the use of it, but the whole purpose of that program was to try to evolve from it and to get to a point to where hip hop praises women and really shows the African American community in a much better light. And basically,
right.
at the end of near the end of the show, it came to that conclusion. But there's a whole lot of reasoning behind why some of these rap artists, say what they say when it comes to their lyrics. I mean, some of them say it's just art. They really don't mean, some say it's just art. Some may say that, hey, look, there's a certain population of women out there that we're talking to. You know what I'm saying?
They fit the bill. Is that what you're saying?
So this wouldn't be in reference to my mother or my sister or even you, Oprah, but
and you see, that's crazy, man. That's so crazy.
There's this girl down the street that I do
know. but you see how they never name that girl.
Yes.
And then on top of that, when they use the B word, they'll put the ES on the end. You know what I mean? Plural.
Very true. Very true.
And then the H word, ho. They don't just say this ho. I knew.
Yes.
It's hoes. Now, from hoes, it's graduated to thoughts.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. I mean, okay. And then women try to justify it by saying, "Oh, he's not talking about me." Yes, he is, stupid. Yes, he is, you moron. He is talking about you. I mean, he may not talk to you. He may not say that to your face, but to his boys, you're a thought. You're a hoe. That's what he's saying about you. That's the disrespect that these guys have. Literally, dude. Thought and hoe literally replaced the word woman.
Yes.
Girl. I mean,
exactly.
Every once in a while, the word female might slip out their mouth by mistake. But, black women are now trying to, get rid of that word too. They don't want to be called female, because it just has a ghetto connotation to it, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, man! I mean, people need to wake up, man. Let me bring it around. When I mention the title "Black Male Toxicity,"
yes,
what does that mean to you?
Black male toxicity. It can mean a couple things. One of the first things that come into mind is the influences that the black males have within the black community that can seep into their lifestyle, or they'll adopt, or they'll adopt it, thus making them, making some of us toxic, in a sense, to where we're living up to the to the attributes of some of these lyrics that we hear in rap music.
Thank you.
In hip hop music. So whereas your people like there's so many out there.
Just take your pick. I mean,
yes,
pretty much anyone whose name starts with Lil.
Right.
Oh my goodness, little this, little that.
Their lifestyle, and some of them may have come from the hood, but they no longer live in the hood anymore.
They sure don't, man. They sure don't.
They are living the affluent lifestyle, and I applaud them for that. But meanwhile, what men, not only men but women too, but since we're talking about men, we'll just focus on men. But men in the black community, especially in poor black communities, have to realize is that, hey, look, they may be rapping about gang banging, but they're no longer gang banging.
Exactly.
Okay? All right. They may get caught up with having guns. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they're not gang banging anymore.
They're not banging. They're living in Calabasas, Tarzana. Okay, that's where they're living.
Exactly.
You know,
they're living in hidden ranch.
a hidden ranch, okay?
Yes.
Hidden.
And if you don't know where that is, that's why it's called hidden ranch.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So let me. Okay. So let's say this. All right. You touched on a point where I wanted to really touch on, because I feel I did a live chat on my channel. I took it down. I'm gonna put it back up, but I just need to remove the video. I don't want to be up on video. I'm starting to move away from putting myself on camera too much. Yeah. I'm doing this for free, guys. I don't monetize my channel. I don't get paid for this. I have a job. I'm doing other things for money. Put it that way. I do this because I love the community, and and I care, and I want to get this message out. Look, basically, I titled the discussion "Trapped in Black Culture" or "Trapped in Dysfunctional Black Culture." Do you ever? I mean, I'm reading about people. I'm reading comments online. People on my channel. People on different channels. People who feel trapped. They feel like they can't get away from this culture that has become a giant in terms of entertainment.
Yes.
They can't get away from it. They're trapped in it. And if they don't live up to what the culture dictates, hey, you need to wear your pants like this. Hey, you need to walk like this. Hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z, or else you're not black. You know how they do that. So what I did was I created a few categories. Obviously, we have everybody knows the hood rat and the hood roach, the cockroaches of the hood, right?
Yes.
And it's not just talking about low income. It's talking about overall just low IQ, no aspirations.
Yes.
Thinking drug dealing or a rap career is the only way out.
Yes.
That type. Okay. And then we have the people who I deem the most dangerous. And I call them the fence riders. The fence riders are the people who are too afraid to actually stand up to the hood roaches and the hood rats and to say, you know what, this is wrong. This isn't what we're supposed. Hood rats and hood roaches don't listen anyway. They don't care what's wrong, what's right. If you give them the option between wrong and right, they're gonna choose the wrong anyway. That's just the way they are, the way they think. It's just to do things that are bad. That's just how it is, man. It's a very selfish culture that seeks to get whatever it needs from others, using people, stealing, doing whatever they got to do to get ahead, and then and then controlling. It's a system of control where they control women. They refer, it's almost like a big gang when you think about it. It's like a big gang, and you have these people in the hood who use these power tactics. For example, they use the fear of ridicule. Oh, we'll make fun of you if you try to deviate from what we say is the norm or the status quo. Now, me and you, we're too old to fall victim to that, but there are a lot of young people out there who fall victim to this kind of stuff. And they feel trapped, and they feel a need to be like these people in order to be validated as black men and black women. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What are some of those things? Let's just call them out real quick. What are some things that come to mind for you?
Some of the things that some of these young black men feel like they need to do to be validated.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right, let me start it off. Let me start it off.
Yeah.
Let me start it off. Okay. For example, I remember when I was in school. I remember I had a girlfriend when I was in high school. I remember having a girlfriend, and I was monogamous. I had one girlfriend, and that was it. That's all I needed.
Yes.
And I remember being made fun of by a hood roach.
Yes.
Right. who made fun of me for having one girlfriend.
Yes.
And I was like, what's wrong with having one girlfriend at a time?
Yes.
And he tried to make fun of me for that. See, so what he was trying to enforce is that the black male must be a player.
Exactly.
Must have multiples. Must have a harem. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's the first step. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, I was shocked to hear, and I'm not even exaggerating, but I am shocked. But I was shocked because it was close to home. I have a friend who has, who's in a relationship with this older black gentleman. Okay, well, I won't call him a gentleman because he's physically abusive, but that's besides the point. That's a whole new topic.
Right.
But come to find out, she was telling me that he is the father of 27 kids.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and
should be
clearly not all from the same woman. Okay, you know, and so it's just one of those things where, you know, there's a couple things that there's one thing to have multiple girlfriends, okay, and then to just hoe around. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, it's two different things. Now the thing is that I've never been I don't think anybody is necessarily a proponent of infidelity or cheating, whether it be in the courting stages or in a marital stage.
Right.
But at the end of the day, for whatever reason, you know, there are many people, definitely some women, but definitely many men that feel like, hey, look, you know, I'm with, you know, this one girl and she's my girl, and you know, she's my everything. But I got this side chick over here.
But
you know what I'm saying? I got this side chick.
Side piece. I think that's what they call them now.
Side piece. You know that. I love my girl, and that's the thing. They love the one they're with, but they're holding around with the one that they have zero plans on ever being with. You know what I'm saying?
I know, dude, and it's so corrupting because. And then the women are getting involved in it too. They're actually happy to be a side piece now. And it's like, how are you happy being a side piece? I mean, what's wrong with you?
Well, it's funny how you mentioned that because Lou Williams, does that name ring a bell?
No, it doesn't. Who is that?
All right. Well, for all the listeners that are, you know, that follow basketball, all of you know who Lou Williams is. In fact, you may even know what I'm about to say. Lou Williams is an NBA player, a star NBA player, actually. He's won some Sixth Man of the Year awards. Extremely talented. He's currently playing for the Clippers. He played for the Lakers for a short spell, and so forth. You know, he's bounced around to a few different teams. Not because he's not talented, but because he's not like a superstar. So when it comes time to trading, you know, he's a great trade piece. But he is open about having two girlfriends.
Oh, wow.
Open. And not only is he open about having two girlfriends, those two girlfriends know each other and are both at the games sometimes watching him play.
Wow. Okay, you know, I have heard of him. I think somebody pointed that out to me. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I think I was the one that told you about it.
I think you did. I think you did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. And they were attractive women too.
Oh, very attractive women. They pull up. All you got to do is Google Lou Williams and his girlfriends. Click on images, and you actually see him posing with both women.
I know, I've seen it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes, multiple pictures too. And so it's like, you know, and so in that sense, I mean, clearly, you know, it's not like Lou Williams is trying to go, you know, incognito, you about it.
Right, he's different.
To the other,
He's different. And
yes.
And let me say why. The reason why is because he's out in the open. He's transparent with it.
Exactly.
In terms of black male toxicity, in order to be a black male, these are the rules that you must subscribe to in order to be masculine, in order to be, a player and to be found as attractive and to be cool among in the hood, according to the hood logic.
True.
What they want you to do is they want you to have a bunch of side pieces. That's the way to go.
Yes.
That's how you define your masculinity.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that's trash. That's trash.
It is.
It's trash. You don't have to do that. I mean, that's not something to be proud of. That's something you do, and you just keep it to yourself. That's how it used to be, but now it's like you get a trophy. You get the damn Olympic gold medal for being the carrier of the most side pieces.
Exactly.
I mean, and then you got women coming out being proud to be side pieces, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this culture? So it's just this is the one aspect of black male toxicity I'm talking about. Let me shift gears here. Let me unless you want to say something else about that, let me shift gears into more of the values. Another form of black male toxicity is the lack of. What I'm saying is the lack of accountability. Man, it's scary, man. It is scary.
Yes.
People not being able to connect their actions with the results of their actions.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, guy sells drugs, gets locked up. It's the white man's fault. Comment on that, man. Comment on that, please.
Yes. Well, here... Let me preface it with this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be contrary to many of the beliefs of, our fellow black brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. But within our community, there is a huge lack of accountability.
Huge.
We want to blame why the inner city looks the way it is because of outside influences, the quote unquote establishment, the government, this and that. And it's not to say that maybe those entities don't have some part in it, but I tell you this. I tell you this. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to at least make your area look nice.
Right.
Okay. Because nobody's coming in there graffitiing.
Right.
The inside of these apartment buildings in the inner cities. No, except for our own. Okay.
Exactly.
And so when it comes to accountability, we have a difficult time being accountable, not only for our actions, but even for our situation that we're in, because we're still holding on to the past, and not our past, our ancestors' past.
Right.
Okay, and still holding on to that, which is a roadblock for any type of progress, which is a roadblock. And don't get me wrong, we have progressed a lot. But if you look at the people who have progressed a lot, at some point they had to let go. They had to let go of blame and hold themselves accountable. The only sad part about it is that once they reached a level of success, they now preach to the black community, our own people, preach to the black community that they're still victims.
Right. Yes.
Are you following me?
Yes.
And so when it comes specifically to males, it's no wonder why many of us refuse to be accountable because accountability isn't the primary. It's not the foundation of our culture.
Right.
Being accountable. The foundation of our culture is blaming white people. One of the foundations is blaming white people, with all due respect to our culture.
Right.
And it's not to say that there isn't some truth to it, but there was more truth to it before than there is now. Because there's way too much evidence of progress beyond that.
Exactly. And let me comment on that if I could, man.
Please.
You're touching on some really valid points. Look, there's somebody listening right now who's muttering the word coon under his breath. Let me touch on this. Look, nobody's saying that there aren't white people who are interested in throwing roadblocks in front of black people in order to slow us down. It's happening. We see the evidence in the financial systems, in the banking system. There's research on it. We see that. We understand that. But what we're saying is, despite that, there are still things that you should be held accountable for. Like, for example, you see the video of the two 16-year-olds going and holding up that store in somewhere in LA, and then the security guard comes in and shoots them both.
Yes.
I'm like, now tell me, which white man was it that told you to go get a gun and to go hold up a store? Which white guy was it? Who forced you to do that?
Exactly.
And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There are already enough roadblocks in front of us.
Yes.
Why don't you make it easier for yourself? Try to stay in school. See, here, that's another topic we want to get to. We want to get to education.
Yes.
Make it easy for yourself. Don't do things don't gamble on things, especially on crime.
Exactly.
When all it's going to do is hurt you, hurt your community, hurt your family, who's going to miss you when you're away in jail.
Exactly.
And then it's going to hurt the image of the collective, the black people in America as a whole, who are just going to collectively shake their head when they see you being led away in cuffs, and then at your hearings.
Exactly. Let me put it to you like this. You look at the Jewish community. In the Jewish community, they've had their deals as it pertains to what happened during the Holocaust.
Right,
okay?
right.
But how many Jews have you heard blaming the Holocaust?
None. I haven't heard any.
All right, none. In fact, and that's why when you look at the Jewish community, they are, they not only are they close knit, but they help each other out. They lift each other up, and they're highly successful.
Right.
Now we as a community, we have many individuals. We have tons of highly successful black, in fact, black males that you really don't hear a lot about. Mm-hmm. But they're out there. Some of them you do hear. You do hear about them, but not so. But not as much as, say, for example. I mean, I'm not even talking about in the world of entertainment either.
Right.
But the thing is that a culture that is willing to be accountable for their successes or lack of,
mm-hmm.
Culturally, is a culture that will always succeed.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Period. And so if we're walking around as a black male with the notion that, well, the man is bringing me down, the man is putting these roadblocks, etc., that makes that. I mean, I can't even connect with that. I can't even connect with that because I've seen too many examples of black males making it out of the inner city. I've seen too many black males, and I've seen too many black males who grew up in a single parent home make it out. I grew up in a single parent home.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And so there aren't any excuses as to why. And when I mean successful, I'm not even talking about monetary success. I'm talking about success where you're doing your best to just progress in life, move up in society, etc. You know, whether you may still be middle class, low middle class, whatever, but you maintain you maintain a sense of wantingness, of willingness, of desire, of knowing that, hey, look, I'm just at the threshold, and I'm successful now, but I'm just at the threshold of even bigger successes.
Right.
And that is what needs to permeate through most black males' minds, especially within the inner cities, you know. And I get disappointed and I'll call some of them out. I get disappointed in people like Maxine Waters, although she has done great things in the inner cities. I know in Los Angeles there's some type of community center, you know, where, you know, kids can learn to, you know, get computer skills and whatnot. Her name is on it. I'm not sure if she was the one that actually was the front runner on it, but
right.
You know, but I'm sure she has some part in it. But I get disappointed when her and some of these so-called, you know, other blacks that say that they represent us, you know, don't hold us accountable.
Yeah, you know, that's a big problem. You know, and let me switch gears now. I think I'm delving into this theory of the fence riders. I could write a whole book on these people, man. The fence riders. What the fence riders are, here's the anatomy of a fence rider. The fence rider is an educated, typically educated, somewhat educated black American person who is afraid to be ostracized by the ghetto, by the hood, because that, you know, truth be told, the hood has the most influence over the black community. They influence a lot of things, and so the fence riders are afraid to push back against them for fear of being called coon and other derogatory terms. The fence riders will clasp hands with the rappers and the former drug dealers and all these people, you know, the so-called pseudo criminal element and the real criminal element. They will clasp hands with some of these people sometimes once they become successful.
Yes.
Legitimizing those people. I wouldn't be caught dead with Cardi B or with any of these trash rappers. I wouldn't even want to be in the same room as them.
Yes.
And we make the mistake of looking at how much money they have in terms of being successful. Hey, look, if money is the only factor of success, if it's not decency, then El Chapo, the drug lord, we should be praising him. You know what I mean? You know,
exactly.
I mean, if money's the only thing, I mean, tell me what is it? If it's not just money, what is it? Why do we pay any attention to these people? I mean, listen to what they talk about in their music. Listen to how foul they are. Yes. Like, what redeeming qualities do they have? Are they fit to teach our kids? Are they fit to be role models for our kids? Yes. No. Absolutely not.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to hip hop, and let me put it out there. I'm a fan of hip hop. I'm a fan of rap. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Kendrick Lamar. You know, I enjoy Common. I mean, I even like, I've even have like Nas and Jay-Z, but although Nas and Jay-Z, have mentioned some of the things that have in their lyrics, some of the things that we're talking about. Okay,
right.
But the thing is this, and that is, when it comes to the gravitation to hip hop, the first thing that gets you is not even the lyrics, it's the beat, it's the style,
Mm-hmm.
and the lyrics will follow. And so the thing is that if we were to have in mainstream those same beats, but with lyrics that uplift the black community,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I'm not just that uplift the black community, that shows but then on the flip side of that, this is what you have an issue with. Then now you have, well, they're just expressing, what they came, what they had to go through, what they came out of, et cetera, et cetera. Although partially that is true, but but how often do you hear rappers after several years in the business rapping about their current lifestyle?
Hey, exactly.
Because they're not living in the hood anymore. Okay, giving aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
Giving aspirations to that inner city kid, them showing them, hey, look, like what Dre said, started from the bottom, now I'm here. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that he can see, hey, look, yeah, early on, this was my lifestyle. Gangbanger, drugs, etc., etc. Now this is my lifestyle.
Right.
Packing arenas, making people disconnect from the negativities of the world, and come together as one, just having a good time and being jubilant as they listen to the music. Now, if the lyrics would also uplift at the same time, then that would be perfect.
Right. But But tell me this: what's the general temperature of modern day commercial hip hop? What's the general temperature? Does it tend to be negative, or does it tend to be positive and uplifting? What would you say?
Wow, honestly, today in mainstream hip hop, it's even hard to tell, because really some of these newer rappers, is not to knock on some of these newer rappers. I mean, they're not really rapping much about anything, really. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad,
Mumbling.
Yes, there is some there is negativity. I know, but the overall tone is negative. Definitely, the overall tone is negative.
The overall tone is negative. Now, for instance, if you were to listen to, let's say something like reggae or something like that, a lot of reggae, a lot of it is positive. A lot of it, honestly, is positive. And it makes you feel good.
Exactly.
Now, let me point out another thing about this toxic environment we've created for ourselves, and we kind of stew in it with the music. When you listen to certain type of rap, what mood does it put you in? Does it put you in like a happy, friendly mood, or does it tend to put you in a mood where you're kind of defensive and chip on your shoulder type attitude? What is it? If we're being honest with ourselves, what does it do to us?
Well, it depends on what I'm listening to. I know if I know back in the day, if I wanted to, if I was like if I was in a mood, and I was irritated, I can put on some DMX. All right, and we all and DMX is gonna be hard and rough and
right.
It was going to get you to that mood of aggression and anger and all that stuff.
Right, it'll get you pumped up.
Exactly. And even though we're talking about mainly black rappers, I'll throw in Eminem because even Eminem's lyrics. I mean,
he's angry too.
He's angry. Every song's angry.
He's the most angry, I would say.
He has to be the angriest.
He's probably the angriest, yeah, and he's white. But he had to learn that from somewhere.
Yes.
He grew up listening to that music, and he became it, and he's the worst of the worst. He's some of the worst of the worst. I mean, but then, there's all different types of hip hop. Anyway, let me shift gears. We could talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about education, man.
Yes.
There are people who. And there's a form of black male toxicity that praises people who hustle, and then people who want to go to college, and get degrees and this kind of thing. They're considered almost like weak and like pussies, to use that word. I mean, that's literally what it is, like you're weak. That's all that college. That's for pussies, and you get that sense that education and invention and striving to be your best and doing these things outside of hip hop, outside of hustling, are for weak, soft pussies. That's what you get. Do you get that? Do you feel that sentiment also?
There is a sense that education. There's a sense that education isn't a high priority amongst blacks and amongst hip hop artists that are thinkers. Okay, education is a high priority, but not just institutionalized education, self-education through books, through research, etc. In addition to institutionalized education, but more so through going out and learning for yourself as well. But when it comes to the mainstream, especially mainstream rappers, there's not really much. Outside of maybe a couple, not so much emphasis on education, on uplifting of the mind, of uplifting, of increase in knowledge and wisdom. Because at the end of the day, what will eventually elevate you is knowledge and wisdom.
Right.
And if you're not a seeker or a receiver,
right,
of knowledge and wisdom, then exactly what is your purpose? Exactly.
I'm going to say this. Let me bring it to this. Let me ask the question, and I'm asking the audience as well. I want to ask meaningful questions. I have a lot of black women who are my subs, and I have a few black guys, and these people these are solid. I got some solid subs, right? But what I want to get at is I want to ask this question to people who may be new to the channel who are listening to this. What does a cool black dude look like? When black people think about a cool black dude, what does he look like? What does he do for a living? What does he look like? What's the general consensus in Black American culture? What does a cool black dude look like? What's his appearance? What does he do? What does he read? Who is he? What do you think that is?
Cool. well, here's the thing. There's two aspects of a cool black dude. I mean, you do. It just depends. It just depends on it depends on what arena you're in. If you're in the inner city, cool black dude may be.
it's coming.
It could be someone that basically mimics, some of what you see, like your Lil Waynes, or
yes,
all right. They may have the grill. They may have,
a grill.
They may have the
some platinum.
And not just tattoos, but maybe they're part of their face tattoo. I don't know.
They are running out of room, man. Woo! And face tats.
Yes, those two, because it's one thing to grow up in the inner city or in the ghetto. It's another thing to be ghetto. You follow me?
Right,
and
exactly.
Make the decision to be ghetto. Now you have another sector of black males that being cool is, and this is actually coming back into style. I mean, right now, if you're wearing baggy jeans, then you're really being retro right now, because baggy jeans is not in. Okay.
Right.
What was in are skinny jeans, jeans, sneakers, more of that skateboard look. Okay.
Right.
You follow me? Which is now becoming prevalent amongst black males as well. That could be considered cool. Another amongst black males, someone that you're ballers.
Right. See,
you're ballers.
And I'm glad you said that, because it goes from a Lil Wayne mimicker, your typical trash with the face tattoos and just that whole dirty look, to a baller, an athlete, man. Yes. All right, keep going. What else is cool out there? What else is considered cool?
What's cool? There's like what's considered good, cool is if you depending on where you grew up, what community you grew up in, or were you growing up in currently, or your mindset. What could be cool is packing. Right.
All right, let me ask you this. All right, I'm trying to fill the gaps here. Let me ask you this. Okay, this is what I see. I agree with your assessment on the last two.
Yes.
That's pretty much it, dude. Have you realized that?
Yes.
The reason why I asked that question is because young black men need to have role models to look up to, guys who they think are cool, who they can look up to, who they can emulate.
Yes.
I think a couple of the coolest dudes in Hollywood or in the media, I think Will Smith is cool. I think he's not a thug.
Yes.
He's not a baller, but he's cool.
Yes.
Denzel is cool. He's not a thug. He's not a baller. He's a cool dude.
Yes.
These two guys aren't running around with the N-word in their mouth every 5 minutes.
Yes.
They're well-dressed, well-groomed gentlemen. I like these guys. These are cool dudes, man.
Yes.
Smart guys, etc. And people like them. Now,
yes.
Let me do a little quick comparison and a contrast for people who are listening. Young black men, if you're listening to this, if you're in your 20s, late teens, late 20s, whatever, listen to this, okay? The only two options you have right now are baller and thug look. And the ballers are basically have crossed over in some respects. A lot of them are fence riders. A lot of them look like thugs. A lot of them are thugs who came out of that community. To be honest, a lot of them in basketball was their come up, right? And some of them are college kids, college boys, but a lot of them play around with the thugs. They hang out with the thugs. They're friends with the rappers, and so there's a blurring of the lines. Now, contrast this. I want you to contrast this with what the white community views as cool and what the Japanese community views as cool. Let me start with the Japanese because most people don't know this. I lived overseas for years and years and years. Been to Japan, studied Japan, speak a little Japanese, right? Konnichiwa. Let me tell you what Japanese women find cool. Japanese women find engineers to be cool. That is the coolest profession for a man in Japan. An engineer. Not a pop star, not an athlete, and definitely not a gangster like the Yakuza. That's a Japanese gangster mobs, organized crime unit, Yakuza. None of those are considered cool. What's considered cool are engineers. And as a result, look at Japanese society. Now, the reason why I mention this is because what's considered cool, what women consider cool and what young people consider cool generally drives that society's direction. If women think ballers are cool, guess what young men are going to want to become? Ballers.
Ballers, yeah.
If women think dating bad boys and thugs are cool, guess what young men are going to want to become? Thugs.
Bad boys.
Bad boys and thugs.
Yes.
If women think black dudes who go to school are squares and nerds, and they don't give them any, they don't talk to them, and they think they're weird, guess what young black men are not going to want to become? They're not going to want to go to school, man.
Exactly.
The problem is our perception of what is cool. What is cool now is what's toxic. That's what's cool. Anything that's toxic, anything that's dysfunctional is cool. Tattoos on the face, gold grills, 10, 15 side pieces, whatever the hell that is. That sounds like something on the menu at KFC. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is what's considered cool. Now, let's cross over to white society. What's considered cool in white society? Guys who were doctors, guys who were hotshot lawyers. All you got to do is look at their TV shows. Guys who are starting up companies, CEOs, tech entrepreneurs. That's cool to them. You know, they at the same time, they like, you know, at the same time, there's certain girls who like military guys, but guess what? Military guys have honor, respect, dignity. Okay? At the same time, they like police officers. Same thing for most of them, a lot of them. A lot of them like firefighters. Same thing. Heroes, good guys, save lives. These things are considered cool.
Yes.
In their society. And as a result, what happens? That's what they do. They go into tech. They go to school. They get that money because they become successful because that's what's considered cool. And that's who the women want to marry.
Yes.
And that's the image they have. But in black society, in black male, this black male toxicity, this soup we have of toxic elements of side pieces and rap culture and gun culture and gang culture and victimology and lack of accountability and the N-word, every other word, and the I don't care rebellious attitude. That's what's considered cool, and it's destroying the black community.
Yes.
It's destroying the black community. Anyway, man, I hear your phone. I hear your phone ringing. If you want to add any comments to that, man, go ahead. And if not, thank you, man. Thank you so much for this. I think a lot of people are going to benefit. Go ahead, tell me. Go ahead, and I'll let you get the final word.
Well, that I would love for people like Tavis Smiley, Michael Dyson.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with these names, right?
I'm familiar with them, yeah. Roland Martins, these guys of the world.
They, to call a spade, to call out our own, okay?
They're not gonna do it, man.
Because they feed in many times into this mentality by not calling it out.
Right, they're fence riders. You know, and it's not. You know, you can throw in the usual suspects as well, like your Al Sharptons and your Jesse Jacksons. You can throw them in too. Yep, they hold hands with the rappers, man.
You know?
They hold hands with the rappers. They hold hands with the dysfunctional, and when you hold hands with them, you become them. You validate them.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And because here's the thing about the black community, and especially amongst black males, is that because I give mad props to Tavis Smiley and Michael Dyson, Maxine Waters, all of these distinguished black males and black females. I give them mad respect because of their intelligence, their ability to communicate extremely well, and how they were able to, and many of them from humble beginnings, to rise to a level of notoriety and high respect. I have high respect for them. But on the same token, if you want people within the inner city to look up to you, okay? And to be, because here's the thing, you hear a whole lot of what I call nonsense that will spew out of their mouths, okay? But you don't hear a lot about how they got to where they are. And if they were to tell these young black men how they did it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they've never done that.
Right.
But that's not their platform. That's not what they're all about. Okay, they're not. That's not what pays the bills for them. Okay.
Right.
Okay. What pays the bills is racism. Is the victim mentality. Is let's blame them over there because you refuse to do your homework.
Oh man, okay. Damn.
We can talk about the educational system in the inner city, how bad it is, but again, let's say the inner city schools are bad. But what is keeping your child from doing his or her homework?
Exactly.
Well, I tell you exactly what's keeping them from doing his or her homework. Well, part of the problem would be a lack of parental guidance in the home. Okay? And everything begins with parental guidance in the home. When we, as a black community, decide to quit giving our power away to others, to establishments, to governments, to they over there and them over there and right over here, them. Quit giving our power away and take our power back. And what I mean by taking our power back, I'm not talking about black power. I'm talking about let me tell you something. The reason why slaves were able to be strong was because they did not see themselves as slaves. They were slaves. Don't get me wrong. And yes, they knew that they were slaves. But what kept them going?
Mm-hmm.
What kept them going? Knowing in their head that they were more than slaves. So that they were somebody.
Right.
You see, internally they didn't have the victim mentality. Internally, they knew who they truly were.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we decide, especially within the inner cities, when we decide that, hey, look, everything starts with us. It doesn't start with our government. It doesn't start with white people changing. It starts with us.
Exactly.
Okay? And once we decide that we are going to empower ourselves and do for ourselves and uplift and edify each other, then you will see, especially among black males, the uprising of black males, especially from the inner cities, that will rise up to be productive, great fathers, husbands, co-workers, employees, employers, entrepreneurs.
Right.
Even if you choose to go into the music industry,
right,
you will still exemplify that in your music.
Right.
And so that's what I want to leave off with, is that we have to take our power back, but not giving our power away.
Exactly. Man, thank you for those comments, man. I really appreciate it. I want to do this again. As you have time and as we can find a topic to discuss. But I want to say to all the young black men who are listening, heed these words. We need a separation of thought. We need a break in thought between the black community that exists. That there's a corner of the black community that thinks a certain way, and then there's another group of people who think like what you're hearing now on this podcast. And we want you to join this level of thinking. Get away from that. That is, you can see what that is, and it's not doing anything for us as a people. We need to graduate past that. Bro, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop this podcast at this time. To the listeners, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you very much.